Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at Tropius with the new move Brutal Swing in the Open Great League. I got some battles sent to me and I haven't seen them, and so we're going to take a look at them together. Let's take a look if this is going to help it out or not. And I have a suspicion, but we're going to talk about this here today as well. We're going to have some gameplay with a very interesting team. We're going to have Tropius in the lead being an anti-fighting type Pokemon, allowing you to definitely survive a bit better with the backline that you have, which is both weak to fighting type Pokemon. And so I do think that this team definitely is going to be a very good one to run in the way it is also shown here. Dunsparce currently most likely the best save swap in the meta, for sure, I would say, being very, very good in terms of the coverage that it has, the fast move pressure that it has, as well as the typing that it has. As a normal type, you're only going to have the weakness against fighting type Pokemon, but also you're going to have an immunity against the ghost type Pokemon, which is really, really cool, making the normal type one of the best kind of types around, especially if you have the coverage that we have with Dunsparce. In the back, we're going to have the Licky. Cool Pokemon as well for that, but also, why did the opponent swap out of here? I don't really know, but we will definitely gonna take some advantage here, I guess, against the opponent with that, because one Leaf Blade is going to be all it takes to knock out that Gastrodon, but of course you can completely destroy this Pokemon here as well, just going to let the moves go through, you could even overfarmed a bit more than this, I guess, but it's going to be fine. It's going to be able to get the shield. Oh, that's interesting. So we're going to get a knockout with the next one, I guess, which is also totally fine. Bye-bye to that Gastrodon. Of course, the swap out comes straight away, as the Rock Side is going to be able to do some super effective hits against the opponent's Manbus, but after the debuff, the nerf on the Rock Side, it's not going to do as much damage as it used to do. But we still have a very solid answer in the back here with Licky running the move Shadow Ball, giving it some interesting type coverage there as well, as the Body Slam is going to be the preferred move here as well. The opponent apparently runs Flying Double Mud Boy, which is an interesting combination in the current meta. Definitely a Pokemon that I also kind of want to take a look at again is going to be that Quagsire. But anyway, this is going to be a very easy victory for you. 2 more Body Slams should be all it takes to knock them out, or here in this case 1 more rollout would also do the job, and so we can move on to the next opponent. Moving on to the next one, we're going to encounter Gastrodon in the lead. A very good lead for us. It's going to be a matchup that is going to be great for this player, and also the save swap here. Drifblim, actually very interesting. There is an uprise recently in the Play Pokemon tournaments, basically, of Drifblim, especially in the Shadow variant after the Astonish buff. The opponent here is not running Astonish, apparently. They're running Hex, which is still generating a bit more energy than what they did before. And apparently also, here, this player is trying to go for the full farm down against the opponent, going for an undercharge, and I don't think this was worth it. I don't think so. You're still gonna be able to do that, don't get me wrong, but was it worth it? I don't think so, because you're now going to be double debuffed, or triple debuffed, I think, at this point, and you're barely going to do any damage, literally 0 damage. So, for you, I think it would have been better to just go for the full charge there on the Rock Side, take the KO, and do way more damage with one rollout against the opponent's Gastrodon. Especially as you're going to have now this interesting matchup here in the back. I would go straight for the charge move here if I was you, because there's nothing that you can bait with. What do you want the opponent to think that you have in the back there? A Solar Beam, a Shadow Ball, or an Earthquake, which is the only 3 charge moves that you would really run. I think it would learn Hyper Beam as well. None of them is going to be really good against it, so they know that it's going to be Body Slam that's coming their way. And so I don't really see the point of overfarming there as well, and especially as he had to swap out and we're a bit in a difficult spot in terms of the fast move timing, it would have been definitely ideal for you to just go straight for the charge move. One thing that we see so far as well, why would you want to run Brutal Swing? There is so far no real reason for this one, and this is something that I also feel like is going to be the issue for Tropius. And I saw some people ask me in the comment section to review this Pokemon, and here is my review for it, with someone else doing, of course, the games here, but I have to say, I highly doubt that this is going to be really impactful for this Pokemon. I still think that Aerial Ace is actually the better move to go for this thing, giving you some better type coverage as well against Pokemon like Pangoro or whatever if you really want to knock them out fast. As Brutal Swing doesn't really help you. It's just gonna make you a bit weaker against Pokemon even like the Manabus, which is not really ideal. And so I don't think that Brutal Swing is the way to go, but I do think that actually Tropius is a love play in the current meta. And we see it here as well with the lead that we encounter. I feel like Flying and Grass type Pokemon have quite a decent play. We're gonna see the swap out here as well. Could have swapped out maybe a bit earlier even as well, a bit later, I mean, as well. But it's going to be okay for you. You're going to have some super effective coverage, and you should definitely go for that one as fast as possible before the opponent decides to swap out anyway here. And so the opponent swaps out into the Gastrodon. You're going to be able to hit this drill run, which is going to be great. But not only this, you're also going to be in a position where you're very likely going to be able to swap out very, very soon. They might even want to go for the body slam here, which they don't, which is fine for you, because now go ahead, go into your Tropius, take advantage, or just let your Pokemon go down here. It's not too bad. I still would have maybe saved this one, but it's not too bad because you can just go for the full farm down, and with this you're going to have the option at least to swap out again, which is kind of great for you. But again, oh look at this, Aerial Ace would have been better against the opponent Jumpluff, which is very likely coming back in here, which is actually not the case. It's going to be the Dugong. But yeah, I don't know, like I don't think that Brutal Swing is going to help it out at all. And with this, I'm going to decide to really quick open P-Poke on the side and see where Brutal Swing may be actually going to give you a bit of an advantage. But I don't think there's really anything in the current meta where you really would want to have this one. If I go through the current meta, I'm gonna look at like Pokemon which you would be able to hit now, which you wouldn't have been able to hit at all. And the first Pokemon that I see where it would make sense to run this move is any kind of Steel type. Any kind of Steel type, you're going to have a bit of a better coverage compared to what you had before. But then again, Stab Leaf Blade is a very strong move, and I don't think the difference is that big for that. And so I don't really think it really matters too much. And then if you think about it, the next Pokemon where you really would want to have Brutal Swing on this one is most likely something like Cresselia or something, the only real Psychic type Pokemon in the meta. And so, while we have a review here of a lot of buffed Pokemon, I do definitely think that you should not run Brutal Swing on this Pokemon. While Brutal Swing is a good move, basically, you're going to have the option to go for the Stab Leaf Blade, which is one of the strongest moves in the game right now. And so I don't really see the point for it. But anyway, we're going to take a look a bit more here at the gameplay. We're going to have the drill run coming through from the opponent's stun spells, which is going to be kind of great here, because as you're going to see, the fast move is sneaking through. The opponent takes a little bit longer to get to their moves, and they're apparently also running Ice Beam, which is interesting. Sadly, honestly, I wouldn't actually say sadly, luckily mainly. Jellicent is quite awkward to run now, because you take a little bit longer to get to the moves. But I actually could see that Bubble and Bubble Beam and Shadow Ball moveset could still really work well for the Jellicent in the current meta. You're going to be able to beat Pokemon for sure, like the Clodsire, but of course there are going to be also some decent answers towards it in the back there, so I like generally in the meta right now as well. So I don't know, like definitely interesting to see how the Jellicent kind of really lost its place. But anyway, we're going to see here the Skuntank, definitely not going to enjoy this drill run, which is coming through, going to do super effective damage, around 65% I would say, which is going to do some nice chunk there, as you can see. And it's now down to either trying to snipe them with a Tropius, I think you had some energy on this Pokemon, or trying to go into the Licky, which is going to be able to take a hit. Crunch is coming through, and another Body Slam is going to land against the opponent to take the knockout against the Skuntank. And as you're gonna see, this is going to be great, as the Jellicent has nothing to do anymore. Malamar. Malamar is a very interesting Pokemon, and I do think that this is kind of also one of the reasons why I think Tropius is actually a lot of play. I think it is just stat-wise very, very interesting in the current meta, and so I could really see that Tropius is going to have a lot of play as well in the play Pokemon tournaments. I think that this Pokemon has quite a lot of options to. But then again, like Tropius has one kind of issue in my opinion here, which is kind of the pacing of it. If it had a bit of a better fast move, as Razor Leaf also got nerfed now, I think it would have way more of an impact in the current meta. But there's actually quite a lot of poison type Pokemon coming back as well. So it's going to be an interesting sight to see on how like things kind of going to happen for this Pokemon. But as you can see here, we're going to have a Whimsicott against us in the back, which is going to be very cool. This player here should be kind of able to at least align their Tropius against this one, which I do agree with. You're going to do super effective damage with a fast move. A Moonblast should not knock you out here yet. It is going to do a lot of damage though. It is actually going to take the knockout, so don't mind me there. But I actually maybe even feel it would be better here for you to go into the Licky, as Body Slam is going to be the better move to go for, just generally speaking. Rock Set is a nerfed move, Rock Set is not a stab move. I know Body Slam got nerfed as well, luckily if you have to say here after the recent changes. I really like, by the way, how Body Slam kind of got handled, like in hindsight for sure. Of course, some Pokemon got a bit of a nerf with it, but I feel like that's kind of fine. But anyway, you're gonna see the full farm down here. Melama's coming back in. You're gonna try to go for the full farm down. Oh, that was very, very close. Very nicely done there. And the Shadow Ball is going to land now up against that Feraligatr. And I don't know, just maybe me, but I would have just went for the Body Slam spam. But at this point, you can just, I guess, go for the Body Slam spam to try to win this battle. I think you have to still land actually another Shadow Ball, so you might try to go for that one. That is risky here. Maybe you want to try to swap actually. Let's find out. You do not. You're gonna let the move go through. I think you don't really have to care anyway, because fast move is gonna be double resisted and you can win the battle. Lickitung is not great anymore. It is really a Pokemon that I would not imagine going to have a lot of play. But who knows, honestly, who knows? You're gonna see here the opponent going for a charge move. For you, this was a bit of a silly play. I would have swapped out here if I was you. We have an ABB style line, and you have 2 Pokemon in the back, at least. No, you're gonna swap out. You have 2 Pokemon in the back that double resist the fast move of the opponent. Body Slam is not really a threat anymore. And to the fact where Power Whip definitely is going to be the better move to go for, generally speaking, in a neutral scenario. So, yeah, Lickitung for sure is going to be a Pokemon that does not enjoy the very strong Pokemon here of the Dunsparce. Dunsparce is one of the best Pokemon to use right now. We're gonna see another charge move coming through. Totally fine. It's going to be that Body Slam, and they're gonna go down as they're gonna reveal the Lantern in the back. A Pokemon that actually is quite underrated, I feel like. Very good Pokemon to run right now. As you're gonna see as well, Drayrun is coming through. This is going to be great, as this is going to be enough to get the shield from the opponent. You can snipe them with a Leaf Blade. This should be most likely enough to... I don't think it actually knocks them out yet. We will not find out anyway, because the opponent uses a shield. But I think that's around like... No, it does enough damage. I think that's around like 50% health from the opponent. But they swap out anyway into the Bastion. And it's a bit tricky. If you can go still for a Drill Run with your Dunsparce, you're gonna be fine. It looks like you can do that though, and so I think you're gonna be okay. Drill Run is needed though, because it's the super effective hit, double super effective hit here against the opponent, and otherwise you're only going to have like barely any damage basically. And so we're gonna see the Overfarm as well, which kind of shows you that you cannot get to 2 of them, which is a bit annoying, because now you have to rely on your Licky. And a Shadow Ball is definitely not going to be enough to knock them out, I think. You're gonna let the move go through, Stone Edge is going to connect and not gonna do too much damage. And you can wait out the clock here as well if you wanted to, like see if the opponent wants to swap out or not. But you're gonna go for the Shadow Ball, and I think with the extra damage from the fast moves, it's going to be enough, and yes it is. As he decided to go for another one. Again, I feel like double Body Slam would make a bit more sense here in this scenario, but you're gonna try to go for the full farm now, which works out as well. And we can move on to the next opponent. Very lovely lead here, as we will see as well, they swap out into the Tentacruel. Tentacruel, a Pokemon that I feel like is also one of the meta winners. There are quite a lot of Azumarill right now around, there are quite a lot of Fairy type Pokemon generally speaking around after the Fairy Wind buff. And as you're gonna see here as well, we're gonna have another charge move coming through, another Drill Run coming through here, and so you are going to be able to get the shield from the opponent. Let's see what is going to happen next. We're gonna see the shield coming up again, Acid Spray is gonna connect here, and another Drill Run is gonna try to find its target. Acid Spray kind of always shows you that you're gonna have actually a very solid matchup with your lead matchup here as well, like with the Tropius, because Acid Spray is not something that you have to use a shield against, and so you're actually gonna be in a very okay spot here. Let's see, Acid Spray is coming through. It is going to, force you to kind of swap out, but you have a Tropius, a Jumpluff here now against you, which is totally fine. I guess Shadow Ball, generally speaking, is a better move to go for, and the fast move damage is definitely going to add up quite a bit here from the Licky as well. Maybe will even allow you to go ahead and go for the farm down after the Shadow Ball, but the opponent decides to forfeit no matter what. Final battle for today. Hope you enjoyed this video. It's very likely coming out while I am away in Dortmund, and so I don't know how things are gonna happen there. But anyway, we're gonna see here the Melama. Melama is going to be a Pokemon that we are gonna try to counter as well. Let's see how this is gonna go. Foul Play is coming through. We're gonna see the Leaf Blade coming in now. And this is going to be quite interesting, as this is going to allow us to get the shield. We're gonna see the swap out into the Dunsparce. So far, this play, by the way, played very well. There are a lot of kind of small things that I would change a bit, but again, at the end of the day, they play all of the battles here very decently, so good job there. Definitely interesting games here as well. Good team for sure as well. Would recommend you to copy the team. You can also use Jumpluff. You can also use Milting in the back. All of those Pokemon kind of work kind of same. I would recommend you, if you can, to use the Dunsparce as you say so, because this Pokemon is quite good right now. And so, as you're gonna see here as well, the opponent is gonna go down with a Feraligatr. we will see the Melma coming back in here. And we will also see another shield coming up. Nope, we're gonna see the Licky coming back in. Against the Manabas, having a very solid matchup. Go for the body slam, please. It's okay. I think you might have been able to deny a fast move from the opponent. And so, yeah, we're going to be able to now go ahead and go for another charge move. This is going to get the shield. And we will try our best to go for another body slam here. Body slam is going to be able to connect against the opponent. This is going to be kind of interesting as they have to kind of swap out eventually, I would imagine. Like, this is going to be like the best matchup kind of for you. You're going to be able to just spam those body slams. You're going to be able to spam the rollout. And I think you're going to be in a very solid spot here as Dark Pulse barely does any damage against you. I find it actually quite interesting that Licky doesn't really have too much success so far in the current play Pokemon metas so far. I didn't really see anyone succeeding with this Pokemon, at least in the last tournament we had. So maybe in Dortmund now going to be a bit different with Licky. Very bulky Pokemon, very interesting Pokemon. Body Slam spam definitely a very, very nice to have. But that's going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for sending in those battles. Both are very enjoyable. And I will see you then. Bye bye.